Let's talk about the first of many different types of pronouns. And we're going to start with the most common pronouns out there. It's what all of us think when we hear the word pronoun. We're talking about personal pronouns. Personal pronouns refer to specific substantives, specific people, places, things, ideas. There are only 7 personal pronouns in English: I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Now, you might be thinking there's more, but actually those others you're probably thinking of are just different variations of these same ones. We, for instance, is just the plural form of I. Him, for instance, is just the objective case of he. So we'll get to those in a minute. For right now, you just need to know these are the 7 personal pronouns. The antecedents of personal pronouns are certain people, places, or things, very specific people, places, or things. As in here, it is my favorite coffee. It is referring to a specific thing, coffee. Or here, I told my friends that they were wrong. They is referring to a specific group of people, friends in this sentence. Personal pronouns also have both singular and plural forms. The singular personal pronouns are I, you, he, she, and it, while the plural personal pronouns are we, you, and they. Personal pronouns can also be classified by their point of view. We have first person personal pronouns. First person, of course, referring to the speaker. Those are I, me, we, and us. We have second person personal pronouns, actually just one, which refer to the substantive being addressed by the speaker, so who or what the speaker is talking to, and the second personal pronoun is you. And finally, third person personal pronouns, which refer to any substantive other than the speaker or the substantive being addressed. Those are he, she, it, and they. Personal pronouns also have different forms depending on gender. We have masculine personal pronouns, he and him, feminine personal pronouns, she and her, and the neutral pronoun, it. Personal pronouns also have different forms depending on grammatical case. Case is a concept some of you may have studied in your LOTE classes, but here it is again. Case is simply the category of a substantive based on its function in a clause. It's a way of categorizing a substantive based on how it's used in a clause. Some languages actually have different forms for nouns depending on where they appear in the sentence. For instance, the noun mother could have a different form, could take a different ending or a different prefix depending on where it appeared in the sentence, if it was the subject, if it was the object, if it was possessive of something, that sort of thing. English, though, only uses different case forms for personal pronouns. It's like the last vestige of our Germanic roots. We still have different case forms for our personal pronouns. There are only 3 distinct cases left in English: the subjective case, which is used when the pronoun is acting as the subject of a clause, as in I, you, he, she, it, we, they. The objective case, which is used when the pronoun is acting as the object of a verb or as the object of a preposition or as an indirect object. That's me, you, him, her, it, us, and them. And finally, the possessive case, which is used to show possession. My, mine, your, yours, his, her, hers, its, our, ours, their, theirs. A note about possessive pronouns: we can actually classify the possessive case into 2 distinct forms. Yeah, possessive pronouns take 2 distinct forms: simple possessive and absolute possessive. These forms may look similar, but they actually perform very different grammatical functions in a sentence. Simple possessive pronouns, they substitute for possessive nouns by modifying, like possessive nouns, some other substantive in the sentence. Our simple possessive pronouns are my, your, his, her, its, ours, our, without the s, and their. As in, this is my essay. Like possessive nouns, simple possessive pronouns are attributives and not substantives. As we can see in the sentence above, this is my essay. My is not a person or a thing in this sentence. My is simply a modifier of essay, which is a thing in this sentence. So my is actually acting as an attributive, which all simple possessive pronouns act as. Absolute possessive pronouns, on the other hand, they substitute whole noun phrases by standing alone as a whole substantive. So whereas simple possessives are always attributives, absolute possessives are always substantives. Our absolute possessives are mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs. As in, this essay is mine. You can see here that absolute possessives actually stand in for stuff in sentences because the word mine in that sentence is a substantive. It is a thing. This essay is a thing. It is mine. To clarify that, let's look at some more examples. Franny lost her phone. Her is a possessive pronoun. It's a simple possessive pronoun. Its antecedent is Franny's because I could insert that into the slot in the sentence. Franny lost Franny's phone. It modifies phone by specifying whose phone is being referred to. So since it's modifying and not standing alone as an actual thing, it's an attributive. Franny said the phone was hers. Said basically the same thing, just in a different way. Hers here is one of those absolute possessive pronouns because its antecedent is a whole noun phrase, her phone. Franny said the phone was her phone. That's the antecedent. Here, hers does not modify. It's an absolute possessive pronoun. It does not modify. It acts as the subject complement of phone. The phone was hers. So here, we see that hers is a substantive, an actual thing in the sentence. When the antecedent of a pronoun is a noun that's acting as a substantive, then the pronoun is also a substantive. When the antecedent of a pronoun is a noun acting as an attributive, then the pronoun itself is also an attributive. Yeah, so just one more time. Personal pronouns typically function as substantives, but in some cases, as in the simple possessives, they can actually function as attributives. Substantives are going to be your subjective, objective, and absolute possessive personal pronouns, while your attributives are going to be pronouns used in that simple possessive form. Your possessive personal pronouns, my, your, his, her, its, ours, or excuse me, our, not ours, that's absolute possessive, and their. For example, we drove to the zoo. We are people driving in this sentence. The antecedent of we is going to be whoever these people are, so it refers to some specific people. We in this sentence is a substantive. Arriving as it opened, the whole zoo was all ours. Here, ours, the antecedent is our zoo. Again, our zoo is a substantive, so ours is a substantive. Our fun ended when our daughter threw a tantrum. Sadly, I know that from personal experience. Our is referring to the peoples. That's the antecedent of our, the peoples. The peoples, though, is a possessive. It's modifying daughter. So since the antecedent is an attributive, then the pronoun is also an attributive. Our daughter is modifying daughter. It's an attributive. All right. Here are all the different forms of personal pronouns in a lovely chart. Feel free to copy this down into your notes. A lot of students find this very helpful. And once you're done doing that, go ahead and take a look at the next set of exercises dealing with personal pronouns.